In the sea that is the genre known as metroidvania, few stand out, but Biota is here to make its footing in that genre. Biota is a 2D metroidvania action platformer in which you command a team of mercenaries and investigate a mining colony infected by an alien plague. You explore a pixel art world packed with mutant monsters and deadly traps. Your task is to survive using a multitude of guns and various crafts, including a mech, a sub, and a starship. The game mixes the charm of retro games, including 2 pixel breathing animations, with the modern day convenience of full controller support, saving anywhere, and even customizing the visuals so they can resemble what you feel is truly retro. Let's take a look at some of the key features here. We got 54 unique 4-color palettes to swap from, 8 playable characters to unlock and upgrade, story campaign with 2 endings, arcade levels where you control a submarine, destroy enemies in a powerful mech, and chase starships in outer space. We got some additional time trials and some arcade target shooting game modes, retro fun with a modern day convenience, always needed nowadays, and energizing chiptune synthwave soundtrack. Now that the key features are front and center, let's take a deeper look at each one of them. The story, without spoiling too much, is this. You were part of Gemini 2 squad, and you were sent to an asteroid to check up on a scientific team that you've lost all communications with. V-Core, which has unlocked this new energy, and it's found through outer space through some means, is now part of a great use of energy for the Earth. It is later found out that this energy source is not as friendly as it seems and has actually put the Earth on a fast track to disaster. And that's just a quick synopsis of it. I want you to play the game and figure it out for yourself on how this unravels. Let's talk about the controls. Controls are the number one thing for any game. Bad controls equals broken controllers, maybe. But definitely a bad player experience. It's safe to say that controls here are airtight. Exploring the Asteroid facility should come naturally to most players, especially those familiar with 2D metroidvanias. The default layout goes as is, and for reference I am using an Xbox One controller. X is fire, Y is your inventory / map, B is your special weapon, A is jump, right bumper is switch your special weapon, and select is save game. Now that last one is very interesting. The select button essentially acts as a save state button. You can save anywhere as long as you are not in combat, jumping, or dying. And don't worry, for those traditionalists, you can just completely ignore that button and there are still save points located throughout the area. And what about those bumpin' chiptunes? Well, the music is good, but it's not anything that I will listen to outside of the game. I thoroughly enjoy the boss music quite a lot, considering that I do no damage runs, so a boss theme goes a long way for me. Some tracks are reused for different areas, which is a bit of a bummer, but the positive is that the tracks are good to the point that I didn't get sick of them while dying. Sound effects while shooting deliver this chunky noise, if you know what I'm talking about, especially when using explosives, which sends a high dose of dopamine in me. I love a good explosive, heavy weapons guy, and Demo Man are my guys if you can tell.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together!
The most important component of any Metroidvania is its progression. And while most Metroidvanias involve the player acquiring new abilities as they traverse the game world, Biota does things a bit differently. Keycards are required to access new areas, but some areas are accessed through vehicles or special characters. Players can acquire these area progressing items in shops placed throughout the facility. Players gain currency by defeating enemies, and the player can only hold 100 of the game's currency initially. In order to purchase necessary items, the player must explore the facility and find airtight canisters that increase the player's currency threshold. The player can also purchase secondary special weapons for all characters and increase max health and ammo. This currency you will need absolutely, you cannot ignore it. It is the way you progress in this game. Traditionally, Metroidvanias acquire new abilities, but here you need new key items in order to progress your way throughout the facility and get to the final encounters. As part of Gemini 2 squad, you start out with 4 playable characters at the beginning of your mission. As you progress and beat the game, you will unlock 4 additional characters. For starters, Karel is definitely the best against bosses. His high damage output and screen clearing special makes up for short range. As I said, there are 3 unlockable characters. 1 is available after finding them in the second section of the game, and 2 more are unlocked after completing the game. And the other one is a required purchase in order to progress through the game. All characters are extremely fun to play and change the playstyle of the game. You have short range rapid fire, you have long range slow firing characters, and some characters' special weapons make areas significantly easier. For example, Zed is fast, but due to his shotgun, he needs to engage from a close position. Flint is great for slower paced players who like to clear areas before traversing them. He can be extremely helpful in the mechanic areas, especially when there's a lot of instant death traps just waiting for you, and there is knockback. And it's an instant death, you do not get iframes. Level layouts prefer different characters, but all areas can be beaten with just one character. Some of the unlockable characters are just straight up fun, just to go around and demolish everything and speedrun the game as much as possible. With that being said, Biota will probably take you around 5.5 hours to get a full 100% run and get the good ending. You can speedrun it, but then you'll definitely get the bad ending. Good ending is dictated by finding all the specimens that you'll find around. And those specimens just aren't for the good ending, they also unlock other stuff, which is their color palettes. You want variety? Biota's got you covered. While even though Biota uses a 4-color palette, it's amazing what they can do with just 4 colors, and most of them look great. Some, not so much.
My eyes! My eyes!
I'm a fan of cooler colors, so it was nice to see multiple palettes with that scheme. Palettes are unlocked by the aforementioned specimens, which can be acquired by defeating bosses or finding them through the Asteroid. Some are in plain sight, while others are hidden behind false walls. You know the deal, it's not a Metroidvania without false walls. There are 54 color palettes in total. I'm still trying to find them all. I change the palettes up every area. For me, color palette can change the ambiance of an area. I'm not going to have a red filter on while in underwater section. I'm not going through lava, I'm going through some polluted water, okay? Those colors need to be cold. Same goes for spooky areas. No bright colors please. Unlocking all the palettes will also net you the good ending, as I mentioned before, and no one wants to see bad endings, unless you're a masochist and you just hate Earth. Which in 2022, I don't blame you. Biota is a fun Metroidvania that doesn't do anything new in the way of gameplay, but has a sturdy foundation and fresh mechanics that make it engaging, such as the character swapping and color palette swapping. These two things keep the game fresh, and the save state action allows for welcoming players to go into challenging areas and not worry about rerunning all their paths. As for me, the color palette and character swapping kept the game fresh. If I got bored of the gameplay or colors, I just went back, changed my playstyle, put a new coat of paint on, and I was ready to go all over again. If you're a fan of Metroidvania games with a sci-fi aesthetic, retro feel, and minimalistic visual approach, then this one is definitely for you. Biota releases April 12th, so by the time this video is up, it's probably already on sale. It's going to be available through Steam and Good Old Games. It's going to cost you $9.99 US and €8.99 euros. A demo is also available on both PC storefronts. Quick shout out to the publisher Retrovibe for sending me a review key. Wouldn't have been able to do this review without those guys. Bless up. And thanks to the developer Small Bros for delivering another great game to the Metroidvania genre. Link to the Steam store is down in the description below. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more gaming goodness. April is a stacked month, there's more things coming, so stay notified. Check out the no damage velocity of this game as well to see some gameplay. And I'll see you in the next video, homies. Hasta luego!